Hey guys, how's it going? This is Supreme and welcome back to another video on my channel in which I'm going to be breaking down the most recent tier list made by myself and my buddy DaLegend. I'm basically going to be talking about the new units and how they fit into the meta and how they compare to the rest of them. So let's get into it.
This is Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black.
This is it, Satan. For the sake of our most glorious project, you will die today!
So let's start off with Vegito Blue. He is the best unit in the game. I want to just say all the Zenkai units in this video and on this tier list are at Zenkai 1, except for the Kid Goku, as you can see there, in second position. Because he's a free-to-play unit, he is at Zenkai 7. The rest of them will be at Zenkai 1. But yeah, let's get into it. Vegito Blue is just maybe the most meta-breaking and disgusting unit we've had released to the game since its release. It's just been horrible playing against him these last this last week. He is absolutely incredible. He's just got the damage that not many units have got, and he also has a cover change. He's got a green card that removes buffs. He locks you in with his blue card. He nullifies cover change, endurance, everything. And he's got a new damage category called Supreme Damage, which is just insane, and that's on his ultimate, and that just literally one-shots a lot of units. So that is why he is number 1. He is incredible. His power level at 2 stars is so much higher than anyone else's, which also just makes it pretty just unfair because he's got insane stats. So yeah, that's why he is number 1. Number 2, the Zenkai Kid Goku. He is still fantastic. Obviously he has endurance, he gives ki, he tanks quite well, he has incredible damage. Because his stats are so high, since most people have got him at 14 stars and at Zenkai level 7, and if you don't, you really should have got him there because he is fantastic. That's what makes him the unit he is, that's what puts him in the position that he's in. Yeah, just a great unit all round. His damage is great, and he does have that tanking capability that you really do need on Saiyans and on some family. So then we move into Merge Zamasu, who is my favourite unit in the game personally. He is absolutely amazing, and the reason he's in the position he is basically just his damage. He's got a good amount of tanking capabilities because he does have a cover change on strikes. He does take a cover cut when you switch in on a blast card or a special move card or whatever. He does take a 40% less damage, which is great. He has an annoying green card to deal with. He basically just reduces the enemy's ki, gets ki back for himself. He gets buffed during the fight and gets stronger and stronger as the fight goes on. So it's yeah, a very complete kit that he's got, and he is a very, very strong unit. Definitely one that you want to be having in your future teams, your God Ki teams, and even your Fusion Warrior teams, because he is that good. You can really put him anywhere, and he also fits on regen, so that's another thing. He just has a lot of tags and a lot of viability in this meta. Then we move into Yellow Vegito. He's just so good. He's got really long combos. I always talk about this guy when I do a tier list breakdown or whatever. He is just incredible. He has insane damage. Before transforming, he's very tanky. He can heal. He destroys Dragon Balls. He draws 4 new cards, and then he recovers his Vanish with his second main ability, also drawing a blue card, which is absolutely destructive. So yeah, he's definitely worthy of being in that spot right there. He's just fantastic. He really is a great unit, and definitely one that if you don't have, definitely just ruins your fusion team a little bit, because he's a very, very important piece to that puzzle. Then we have Kefla, who is maybe the most annoying character on this tier list apart from Vegito Blue. Obviously when they're used together, which is what we're seeing now, they are the most horrible duo to face, because they both have blast armor on strikes and they're just both too strong to deal with. They're just horrible. But she can literally one combo any character that isn't purple. She's very, very strong. We all know what she does. She's been around for about a month now, and she's just incredible. Her feint on her ultimate is horrible to deal with as well. She nullifies endurance, and she's just a very strong unit all round. Has good healing capabilities as well, which does put her at a pretty high level on this tier list. I would definitely say she's the best green unit, and definitely the best unit to deal with that Vegito Blue. So then we get into Android 21. She is still very, very good. I think she's gone down slightly in the pecking order just because Merge Zamasu does fit on Regen, which was her best team, and he is so good that you kind of sometimes run him above her. But she is still fantastic. She's got reduced time when switching. She gains key and a strike card when she comes in. Her blue card is incredible. Yeah, she heals a lot. She just does the whole thing. She's very, very good, and she has a lot of HP since she does buff HP herself. She is a very, very good unit, and her damage is amazing. She's very good for dealing with green units like Kefla. She can put her away with 2 strike cards. That's how good she is. Then we move into the LF Vegeta. He has moved up a lot in the tier list, and that is because of the rekindling of the teams such as Future and Godkey, thanks to the new units that have come out. He is fantastic now, especially being green. He definitely is a unit that you want to run if you do have him. You can lock the blue units in, such as Vegito Blue, and get them out of there as quick as possible with this ultimate, which is still very, very hard hitting, and he is very good since he has low costs and very high draw speed. He's just a fantastic unit all round. Definitely one that you want to be running on any team that he can fit on. So yeah, definitely give him a go if you're not using him already, which I imagine if you do have him, you are using, because he's fantastic. He was always a good unit, but now he is just incredible. Then we move into the Z tier, and a lot of people would maybe argue that Omega should be in Z+, but he's a red unit. No red unit right now can be in Z+, just because of Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue is that good. It's literally not fair for any red unit. He is still fantastic. He basically forces you to not use your rush as much, because he does more damage when you have all 7 Dragon Balls collected. He is such a good unit, so strong. He has one of the best green cards in the game. He just does insane amounts of damage, and he's just an all-out damage dealer, which gives you heavy bleed, heavy poison, and paralysis with your cards. He's just horrible to deal with, and if you don't have Vegito Blue, your chances of getting him out of there are very, very very low, because he is that good. He does do his fair share of tanking too, so there's that as well. Then we move into the purple Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He is still very good. He gets buffed with switches, he heals on switches, he locks in with his blue card, he's got incredible damage as the fight goes on, and he's just an all-round fantastic unit. He's like a Merge Zamasu, just not as good. He's obviously 6 months old or so now, so he isn't quite at the level of Merge Zamasu, but he is still fantastic. Definitely someone that you want to have in your team. On GT, on Son Family, and even Saiyans, he is a good purple option. So yeah, definitely still a great unit, and that's why he is so high up on the tier list. Then we move into Trunks, who is maybe the most situational unit of the new ones that got released, since he does have to get hit quite a lot to bring out his full potential. But when that full potential is unleashed, he is a monster. He can tank pretty much anything, unless a unit does penetrate, sustains damage cut, such as the Vegito Blue, who, like I said before, just does everything. But he can deal with a lot of units. He is very good. He puts out a lot of damage once he's been hit, and his ultimate is very, very strong as well. It can pretty much put away Zamasu in one shot. So yeah, he's a very good unit. He can tank rising rushes. He can tank pretty much anything you throw him in front of. So yeah, there's that. Next we come into the second red unit, which is Gotenks. He is still fantastic. His combos are incredibly long. He has a very good amount of key recovery because of his green cards and his first main ability, which transforms him into Super Saiyan 3. He's just very, very strong. He puts out incredible amounts of damage, and if you're not a blue unit, you're most likely going to be one comboed by this guy if he's used correctly. That's how good he is, and when used alongside units like Kefla, Yellow Vegito, and Vegito Blue, he just becomes even better, because you can just elongate those combos that much more. So that's why he is there. He's just an amazing unit, and definitely one that if you don't have, you can still run EX Gogeta. Me personally, I much prefer the Gotenks, but a lot of people do prefer that EX Gogeta. So if you do have him, definitely give them both a try, and just use whatever one you prefer. Next we have Super Vegito, still a very, very good unit. Obviously has the legendary finish and bonus damage against regen, so units such as the Margin 21, the Omega Shenron, and the Merge Zamasu, they're all going to get hit much harder by him. He does get buffed as long as he's on the field. He's very, very good. He removes buffs with the main ability. We all know what he's done. He's a year old at this point, and he still is a very, very strong unit. Next, we get into the last of the new units that got added. The new Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the full power one. He is very, very good. He's just fantastic. You definitely want to run him on your Saiyan team and on your GT team. He is very good. He heals a lot with his ultimate. He's not the tankiest of unit, but that healing does make up for it since he does heal 40%, and he also does incredible amounts of damage with his blue card, with his ultimate, and with his blast, since he does buff his damage and reduce his cost every time he uses a blast art. And also when he's used alongside Saiyans, he is much stronger, so definitely keep that in mind when you are using him. Next we get into Rose, who's jumped up a lot of positions in this tier list, and that is because of, like I said before, the rekindling of the Future and God Key teams. He is just fantastic. He still puts up a lot of damage. He tanks reasonably well. His debuffs are very important now as well. It's just very, very good to use him alongside units like the Vegito Blue, the Zamasu, and he just gets the job done. He's very, very good. He obviously removes color disadvantage, so after you pop that main ability, the Vegito Blue won't be as effective when used against this Goku Black Rose, so that's why he is in that position. Next we got LF Frieza. It's just his debuffs, the fact that he holds a blue card, his very strong ultimate, and just the amount of buffs he gives the LOE team. He is that good. He's made them a top tier team again alongside the Zenkai Cooler. Those two together, just fantastic, and alongside the full power Frieza, for example, it's just a perfect trio if you know how to use them right. So now we move into the S plus tier. We have Baby, who is arguably in Z tier, but I wouldn't put him there because he's not a unit that can turn a fight around on his own. I think the units that are in in Z plus and Z are units that can just turn a fight around and win it like 1v3. I don't think Baby can do that. I just think he's fantastic, but he's not at the level damage wise where you would put him in a Z tier, for example. But his influence on the teams he's on is huge. Obviously he gives a bonus in healing and in damage, which is fantastic, and he is just a very good unit. We all know what he does at this point, and he's very annoying to deal with because if you don't get him out of there, your opponent's team is going to be healing just stupid amounts. So yeah, that's why he's there. Next we get into Zenkai 1 Buu, who is the highest Zenkai unit apart from the Goku, and he is just, we all know what he does. Zenkai Buu, he has the lock, he has the healing, he's just very, very good. He has a very strong strike card when he does go into the battle, so he does do a lot of damage, especially to blue units. He can definitely take care of them pretty easily, and he is a very good option obviously on regen, and he is the best option on that team to take care of that Vegito Blue. So yeah, definitely if you do run regen, you're going to want to have this Buu Zenkai, because if not, you're going to be having to run Buuhan, who isn't quite at the level where I would say you would want to run him. This Buu is tanky enough to deal with Vegito and to deal with units like 21. He can tank a purple unit's combo and live to see another day, which is something that a lot of other green units can't do. So that's why he is that high in the tier list. He's not quite at the level he used to be, but he is still very good. Then we get into Namek Goku. He's dropped down a little bit, but that's just because of the inclusion of the new units. He is still very, very good. A very strong Saiyan unit that you're going to want to run on your Saiyan team. He is a great buffer for that team as well, especially at 3 and 6 stars. He gives a buff to both attacks, and he is just fantastic. He's got that great blue card that can one-shot a lot of units, so yeah, definitely just, you know, if you've got him, use him, because everyone knows what he does at this point. He is still fantastic. Then we get the Gohan, who's fallen down the pecking order quite a lot, but he is still very strong. He has that lock, he has the green card, and he has the reduced cost every time he an opponent, well, obviously an ally dies, sorry, so he does get stronger as the fight goes on as well, and he's just a very good unit. We all know what he does. He's very annoying to deal with. Zenkai Cooler, he was very good before his Zenkai. He's even better now. He's very strong. He just he does a lot of damage, has a blast armor. His ultimate draws a green card when it lands. His green card buffs his damage, turns his blast into strikes. He just does a lot of stuff, and he's definitely a very good unit that you're going to want to run on your Lineage of Evil team. Then we have Zenkai Beerus, who isn't the best Zenkai at Zenkai level 1. If you do have a 7-star Beerus, I do recommend Zenkai 7ing him because he is definitely worth it, and he becomes the best, if not second best, to Vegito Blue, sorry, in the game. So yeah, if you do have him at 7 stars and you do have the chance to Zenkai him, get him to Zenkai 7 because he's definitely worth it. Then we have Transforming Cooler. We all know what he does, gets stronger as the fight goes on, tanks very well, gains a lot of ki with his green cards, he heals as well. He's just a very good unit, and he's a great replacement for that LF Frieza if you do not have him. Quickly moving down a little bit quick through the tiers now. Obviously these are units that were at the top or just have always been in a constant position. Piccolo, good unit, not the best. He's a very good unit on regen, but you can also run Cell, so he's not essential. Bardock, not the best unit in the game. He's a great last man standing unit, but he is not at the level of the units above him in my opinion. He's very situational, and if he does not reach his transformation and you can't bring the best out of him, he is pretty bad. Bojack, he just works around his cover change. That's been nullified quite a lot with Vegito's ultimate now, which can just nullify any cover change in the game. So he is still very good. He puts out a lot of damage, but he doesn't tank like like units above him do, and he doesn't put out the damage that an Android 21 does, or like a Merge Zamasu does. So that's why he's not as high as he used to be. Moving into this side, Janemba has moved down a little bit just because of the inclusion of Omega Shenron. He's a better red option on regen. He's kind of only good against movies right now, Janemba, which is a bit of a shame because he's a very good unit, but he is not where he used to be. That said, he probably will come back into the meta at some point because he is that strong on movies and against movies that he will come back. I'm pretty sure when we get a Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist Goku, for example, something like that, he will definitely jump back up in the tier list, but he is still at a very high level. Then we have Charlotte, just a great unit, we know that, and he's going to be getting his God transformation soon, which will jump him up probably into Z tier if he's much better than he is now. We'll see how that plays out when he does get his transformation. Then we have the Fiku, still a great support unit, as well as the Android 21 behind him. Two great units on their respective teams that give good supportive qualities to the team, and yeah, definitely units that you can consider using if you do run those teams. Obviously on Saiyans you do have Namek Goku, who I think is a better option, but if you prefer a support unit, Fiku is your guy, and Android 21 just buffs up the Margin 21 a lot, and the whole Android team a lot as well, so definitely a unit that you want to use. Then we jump into Kakarot Goku. Obviously at 14 stars he's going to be doing a lot of damage, he's going to be tanking pretty well, and he's just a unit that isn't the best in any department, but he's very good all round. He's a very good unit, and if you do pull that feint off, he's going to be one-shotting anyone that jumps in his path, unless it's a blue unit. So yeah, that's definitely a plus on his side. Then we have Transforming Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, just great damage dealers on their teams, on Vegeta family. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's crept down a little bit just because of the inclusion of Omega Shenron, who's better on GT than him, but he's still a great unit. Then we have Fuse 13, obviously the androids aren't as strong as they used to be, but he is still a very good unit, very good as last man standing. Then we get into Sin Shenron, has endurance, very very good. He's not the strongest in terms of damage, but he can still do the job on GT, so he is definitely a good unit, and he does buff up the Omega Shenron a lot since he is stronger when used with the Shadow Dragon. Then we have Broly and Cheelai, very good units, definitely not unit, it's a unit, not units. He is a very good unit, Broly, along with Cheelai, and he does do a lot of damage on movies, but I do prefer the Transforming Vegeta on that team. He is good on Frieza Force 2, so definitely a good unit and a very fun one to use. Godbind Goku has just been, never been really in the meta. He's not been on any banners, and now with the inclusion of Fuse Zamasu, he is pretty useless. Quite frankly, he's just not going to be used that much. Then we have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, very good for the 30 counts that he is in his transformation. When he's not transformed, he's not at all at the level that you'd want a unit in this meta to be, but he is still a very good unit, very usable, and definitely one that he's the best yellow unit on God Key, so definitely one that you want to be using. Full Power Frieza, definitely a good unit still. He has the cover cut, which isn't as strong anymore because you have a lot of units that penetrate that, but he does have the strong blue card, the heavy bleed on it, a good counter green card, and just a bunch of stuff going for him. Obviously the endurance too. The cell, always going to be in the meta just because of his cover rescue. He has feint on his ultimate, his green card stops rising rush, he does a lot of stuff, he is very good. Super Saiyan 3 LF Goku, still a very good unit, not at the level he used to be. He's never really been at a very high level, but he just keeps creeping down and down because he has now been replaced by the Super Saiyan 4 Full Power Goku on Saiyan, so he is pretty useless right now. Green Gogeta, I kind of feel for this guy. He was very good for when he was released and stuff, but then Kefla came out and it kind of just spoiled his party. He has not been seen ever since, and he's still a good unit, but definitely not one that you want to be using if you've got Kefla. Then we go into Goku Blue, obviously, who's just been completely overshadowed by the Vegito Blue. You do not want to run him anymore. He's very power crept now. He's only good if you've got him at like plus 12 stars, so yeah, not really very usable right now. Then we got the Red Trunks, who is a very good unit, but he is just not as good as the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta on the Vegeta family, and he is not as good as the Gotenks on Hybrid, so he's kind of been left out a little bit. And then we move into the S tier. These are just units that were at the top of the meta at some point, or are just lacking in a few areas, or just don't have the best team. So yeah, these are units that are still very good and still usable on the right team, but they are not the ones that you want to be using. Ideally, there's better options on their teams for them, or there's better team options in general. Then obviously we get into tier A, just units that are good on the bench when you got them at plus 6 stars, or units that are pretty old now and were very good when they got released but aren't as good anymore. B tier is basically just good bench units if you got them at 6 stars or more. Nothing really special about that, you don't want to be using them. There's many more options as you can see above them. And then we get into C tier, just units that again even worse than B tier on the battlefield, but still decent bench options if you got them at 6 stars or more. And then the D tier units are pretty much all the units that are available for a Zenkai Awakening in my opinion. They're all terrible, not what you want to be using, and yeah, they're just good for bench on some occasions, like the Gotenks for example. This guy right here, he's decent on the fusion bench, but right now he's just not usable. None of these are usable, and you just don't want to use them at all. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think about this tier list. Obviously the new units are very high up, they're all in the Z tier or Z plus tier, so they have been very impactful on the meta. I hope everyone did manage to get everyone, and if you did, let me know what your favourite unit is down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this list, and let me know if you agree, if you disagree, what you would change, all that in the comments below. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.